Okay, and so we will see about this. And you're still with me? Damn, nope, you're not still with me. Let's see. Fuck. It's doing the same thing again. Oh my God. Uh,
Oh,
well, we can keep trying, or I can just put. We could try just the audio. Uh, your nephew had done something before where um, we tried just the audio. Can you hear me now, Don?
Hello?
Hi. You know, maybe we could try the audio. I can just put up a picture of him on there, and just the audio like you did before.
Sure.
Yeah, let's see, because the audio is much better on the Zoom.
Okay. Okay, turn off the video.
Okay, so we're gonna try doing that, and let's see if we can. I'm just. You're still with me, right, Don?
I'm still with you.
Okay. All right, and let's see. Let me look here where we are. Get my stuff going again here. Okay, and then all right, live stream. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We were having some kind of major difficulties here, but we've kind of bypassed them a little bit. We're talking to Don Slaughter, who was born in 1927 and has a really interesting history. And unfortunately, we can't look at him live, but we will be talking to him, and I will post. Um, I will put up a picture of him. How's that done? I'm going to put up a picture of you, and uh, a handsome picture that I just took actually, so I could do that.
Thank you. I didn't bait the camera, did I?
And no, you didn't. So I'm going to share my screen, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Let's see what I'm doing. New things, new and wonderful things. So that is not Don Slaughter. Let's see. Desktop. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's a good picture. Okay, I'm going to open this picture, and then you can see Don Slaughter here. And that's who I'm talking to, Don Slaughter. And you'll hear us talking. Da-da! Okay, we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
And you're here, Don, right?
yeah.
Okay, good.
I I can't see you, but I can see me.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yes, in a small picture up. It's a very small picture. I I can see you. Yeah.
That's because I'm sharing my screen, but this is the best because now people can see your face and who's talking. I think it's when your audio and video are both on that we have the technical difficulties. So this is okay. Um,
Okay.
so I'm going to start again because, since a lot of the people weren't, uh, well, they either heard a little part of it or some people joining now didn't really hear about it. So I was saying that Don Slaughter, he's a trumpet player, and although he hasn't played in a number of years, he had a really pretty incredible career and has a lot of great stories. And so first we were talking about when he first played, and just to recap, he was 10, and he really wanted a musical instrument, and his mom went to Sears and Roebuck and bought the trumpet because it was the cheapest thing, and he was real excited. He learned to play. Now we were just getting into talking. Oh, thanks, Dan. Yeah, his credits too. Pretty cool. We were just getting into talking about Dizzy Gillespie. So he was, let's see. So as I recall, I was looking at your bio, and so it said that. So you were born in 27, and then in 19 the late 1940s, you played with Dizzy Gillespie for a few years.
Yes.
I have
Mhm.
to say that for a trumpet player to be asked to play in the Dizzy Gillespie band, that must be pretty amazing.
Well, I was very fortunate.
Yeah, well, you had to play good because I mean, if Dizzy wants you in his band, you gotta you gotta sound good, man. Right? Uh-oh, now we're losing the voice. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay. Did you hear me? I just said
Yes.
you had to play good, you know, for Dizzy to want you in the band.
Yeah. Well, he thought so. I was doing my best.
Uh, yeah, I bet that was really fun. So you were in that band for 3 to 4 years.
About, uh, see, I was with the band off and on, so uh, it would be about, I'd say more closer to 2 years.
Okay. And was it just in Chicago, or were you traveling a little bit too?
Oh yeah, we traveled. Yeah, uh, we did a lot of the theaters, Apollo and Paradise in Detroit, and the Royal in Baltimore, and of course we did a lot of concerts. We did Carnegie Hall with George Shearing and Harry Belafonte
Oh,
at
wow.
Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
And there was an amazing thing that I won't say amazing, but we were on the bus, and Dizzy was telling us that we're going to be Christmas. We're going to be with at the Apollo Theater. And so I was sitting back. One thing about Dizzy, if you had an idea, uh, he would, and he liked it, he would use it. So I was sitting back there, I was thinking, and Dizzy had a seat by himself on the bus. So I went up, I was talking, I said, Dizzy, we're going to be at Apollo in New York. Um, I got an idea for the opening. So I said, well, what is it? I said, what I want you to do, the curtains will be closed. And I want the drummer to have like jingle bells. And he started, and the curtains completely closed. You can't see nobody. And he'll start ringing these jingle bells. And then there was a bass player that was working with at that time by the name of Al McKibben.
Oh, yeah.
And Al had kind of a deep voice. So I said, what I want him to do after the jingle bells, I want him to say, it was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, but some boppers were out. And then as soon as he said that, Dizzy had what he called a number one opening, a number two opening. They were real fast. And we would I don't know if we did the one or two opening, but we would do that. And then we would cut off, and then the curtain would come up, and the singer with the band, Tiny Irwin, they had a veil over her and a spotlight on her, and she went into Christmas song. And he did it exactly like I asked him to do it. And that made me proud.
That's great. Oh my God. So Dizzy sounds, I mean, I would expect that Dizzy was a cool guy to work for. Was he?
No, he was a great guy to work for. Great. As a matter of fact, um, I remember we stayed on the road so long that when I got a chance to get to Detroit, we were playing at a in Flint, Michigan, which it's a fairly large city, but it's about 60 miles north of Detroit.
Uh-huh.
So when I got to Detroit, I said, let me off in Detroit because I want to stop by the home and see some friends, and we'll be playing later on that day up in Flint.
Yeah.
Well, I picked up um, well, my wife, I picked her up, and this was before we were married. And I had a good friend of mine who was a great guitar player. I don't know if you heard of Kenny Burrell.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I told Kenny, I said, well, you want to go up and hear the band, And he said, oh, yeah, because everybody was enthused with what Dizzy was doing and Charlie Parker also.
Yeah.
So, like me, I'm thinking I'm going to get up there in, maybe 45 minutes. Well, it's 60 miles. And there were no expressways at that time. And I got up there late, and the band was playing, and Dizzy was sitting in my chair. That was the last time I've ever been late for anything.
Oh my God.
So, so the next day we were going to have a rehearsal in Detroit. And so I said, Dizzy, I got a good friend of mine that plays great guitar. I said, can I bring him down and you'd like to hear him? He said, yeah. So I brought him down to rehearsal and introduced him to Kenny. He liked the way he played, but for some reason, he didn't like a guitar in a big band.
Oh.
So, anyways, uh, but the way things turned out, Kenny went to New York, and he got to working with Dizzy later on, and he really built a great name for himself.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah. So he's out here. He was in charge of the UCLA jazz show.
Yeah.
Now, something happened to him when he was in England, and he hit his head or something, but I don't think he's able to play anymore. I haven't been able to get in touch with him. And I don't know what his situation is right now, but uh, fantastic guitar player. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember about 2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3, possibly, there was like a GoFundMe going around for him, to raise money to help him. But then I heard that
Yeah.
was funky,
Right. Yeah. That's
somehow
right.
not above board, or so. I don't know. I heard a few different stories from people who were a little closer in on the situation, but I haven't heard about him for a long, since
Yeah.
then.
Well, that's what, as a matter of fact, Kathy, I'm going to sometime this month, I'm going to meet well, I know him, but we're going to the Hollywood Bowl, and his name's Leonard, and his last name, but he was one, he books a lot of jazz groups. And he had Kenny's phone number, and he gave it to me, but I lost it, and I was never able to call him and find out just what had happened.
Yeah.
So I don't, but I did. I was talking to a young trombonist that was going to UCLA, and he said something about he wasn't teaching over there because he didn't think he was playing anymore. So this must have been it had to be a pretty serious thing because
Yeah.
I guess it kind of wiped out his savings, just trying to help him. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's what I heard too.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
speaking of Dizzy Gillespie, your son said to ask you about the time you cut John Coltrane's hair when you were roommates on the road with Dizzy's band.
Yeah, well, we were doing tour. As a matter of fact, we were in Omaha, Nebraska. Well, I always had some little clippers that I would just clip. I didn't know how to cut hair, And Coltrane said, and he'd seen me doing this. He said, cut my hair for me. I said, Cole, I don't know nothing about cutting no hair, He said, well, do me a favor, do the best you can. So I cut his hair, and he was well satisfied with it.
So you were roommates with John Coltrane. Now, you guys must have been, well, you were young, right? Both of you? Like,
Yeah. Coltrane might have been a little older. I mean,
yeah.
see, a lot of times we go to different cities, and it depends, what the situation was. Sometimes I'd room sometime with Coltrane, sometimes with Willie Cook, and sometimes with Paul Gonsalves.
I see.
And so it all depended on that. And but I knew because I knew everybody in the band, and it was just a thing to save some money, when you're out on the road.
Okay, so I got to ask. So, I mean, I've been a musician a long time. I know a lot of musicians. We've talked about various things like this, and I knew people who went on and became famous. But so when you were in the band and you were rooming with these guys, did you was there any kind of glimmer of something that you saw, like Coltrane, for instance? I mean, you were roommates. Did you see any kind of glimmer about, in him and talking to him that indicated to you, wow, this guy is deep, or he's going to do something special or anything like
Well,
that?
I mean, Coltrane, excuse me, he was always going someplace for sessions and things like that. But see, at this time, when I was playing with Dizzy, he was playing alto. And
Oh,
then the third alto player was Jimmy Heath.
oh,
And both Jimmy Heath did well for himself too. But, Charlie Parker was the alto player, and everybody was trying to play like Bird. And, but later on, when he joined Miles, he he went to tenor,
yeah.
and uh, I know he did some nice recordings on soprano sax, but tenor was his instrument after that. Yeah.
So did you think, like, when you talked to him, did you think that there was something special about him? I'm just curious because, it was John Coltrane and he was special.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, at that time, a lot of musicians were trying to get themselves together. I mean, he played well,
Yeah.
but I knew I worked some with Sonny Stitt, and Sonny Stitt sounded close to Charlie Parker than anybody had ever heard.
Oh, wow.
And so Sonny Stitt played sometime. As a matter of fact, him and Gene Ammons was
Oh,
they got a group together and they did a lot of things together. But Sonny Stitt was from Saginaw, Michigan, and he'd come down sometimes and work with this band I was working with sometimes.
oh,
And his mother, she played piano, and she had she taught tap dancing.
huh.
Now, in the graduation class, they would come down to Detroit, and we played at a place called the Latin Corsino, Latin Quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And this was their graduation down there, and we played from it, and it would tap, And but that his mother was playing piano then, and that's the only time I would see him. But Sonny Stitt would be in town quite a bit because there wasn't that much happening up in Saginaw, so he'd come to Detroit, and he did quite well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were a lot of other musicians that came out. What happened in Detroit when they had when the war went on, they had all these great Ford, General Motors, and Chryslers. They had all these big plants there, And a lot of people, those plans paid good money, and they had good benefits. So a
Yeah.
lot of people that were not originally from Michigan moved into Michigan, into Detroit, because of the work. And at that time, every place that you could go, little bars or anything like that, they had little groups playing. When I say little groups, at least 5 pieces. And then the big bands would play in. And so
Yeah.
Detroit was what you call really jumping.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what a it's amazing that time period. Um, it's just unbelievable who came out of that time period.
Yeah, there was a lot of great musicians. I don't know if you know Yusuf Lateef,
Yeah, Yusuf Lateef. Yeah.
Tommy
Whoops, I missed some of that.
Flanagan,
Getting a little break up here.
Paul Chambers,
Paul Chambers.
Frank Foster. Frank Foster was leading up to see how he's doing because he had a stroke.
Getting a little break up here, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be back, I'm sure, with the. Are you there? We have bad internet service going on. Um, so there's not a lot of YouTube on Dawn. Um, I can follow it along, and for instance, here's the All Music credits, which Dan DeVilla has shown us. He didn't just do like with Dizzy Gillespie. He worked a lot with the Motown people too. See, here's the Temptations, Smokey Robinson, and Marvin Gaye, Junior Walker, the Marvelettes, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Martha and the Vandellas, um, Four Tops, and
Frank Foster, I know you've heard. He said when he
yeah. Anyway, so you can see now this record came out in 2003. Obviously, he didn't. It wasn't Marvin Gaye's live, but these might. I don't know. I don't know when he stopped playing.
Frank
We'll ask him
Foster,
when we can hear him again.
he said, "Oh, this guy is fantastic."
Are
He
you there?
just
Are you
couldn't
there, Don?
outrate it.
Are you there, Don? We're having major difficulty today. Oh my gosh. Now the vocal has frozen. This is a great conversation. I really want more, but might have to change again to my phone, which I can't really tie in the
So
phone. So all of those people, oh my God, just it blows my mind who he mentioned were in the band at that time. Who did he say? Gene Ammons, Coltrane, who was playing alto at the time. He mentioned others. Are you there, Don? 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 I can almost hear something, right? Well, I might have to. Let's try. Hello, Don?
Cathy, You
Yeah,
back?
back. Okay, cool. All right, it's one of those days, man. Oh God. It's so, I was just saying to everybody that it was so interesting who came out of that time period. It's pretty mind-blowing actually for jazz.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you some of these people that I work with and little things that about them. I did some things with Diane Carroll and do I don't know if you remember Teresa Brewer.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar.
She had a pretty big hit called Spinning Wheel, I believe it
Oh
was.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I worked with her, and of course Ella Fitzgerald. Um, I worked with her uh, with uh, with Dizzy. We were up in Connecticut, and we did a theater up there. And then I worked with her again with Nelson Riddle in Detroit. And Ella, I mean, when the job ended, she came and shook hands and thanked every musician in the band for playing her music.
Wow.
Uh, Fantastic, yeah. But
Wow.
like I said, everybody was I did a show with Billie Holiday, and that was at the Royal Theater in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And what happened there? I was with Dizzy then when we were playing the show there, and they had a fellow named Timmy Rogers. He was supposed to be on the show, and he had a big hit going called "I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter,"
Yeah.
and it was a big hit for him.
Right.
But he got sick and couldn't make it. So they sent Billie Holiday. So I got a chance to work with her. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
because I did some things with Nancy, we did a lot of things with Nancy Wilson.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, uh, I'm not sure she graduated from Wilberforce University, but she came in town and they were going to give her, I think, an honorary doctor's degree.
Oh.
And we went down and played for the ceremonies, and then after the ceremony, we played a concert that night, and there, and of course, I worked with some of the theaters too. I did quite a few things with Nancy, and I worked with Natalie Cole and
Yeah.
Pearl Bailey. I did Hello Dolly with Pearl Bailey,
Oh my God.
and she was. Pearl, there was something, Pearl had something that uh, before the show, sometimes she couldn't make it. And she'd go right to the hospital with about 100 yards down the street. And she'd be in the hospital and they'd hold the show up because the people didn't want to see her substitute. They want to see Pearl Bailey.
Wow.
And so Pearl, but she would always get back and make the show. So this is for Hello Dolly. But then I got a chance to work with her at a club. And the same thing happened. We're out there practicing. I don't know if you remember Louis Belson.
That was her husband, right?
That's right. Great drummer.
Yeah.
Great drummer.
Nice person too.
So I had very, very nice. And so we were rehearsing, and there's a tune that we're going to do, and she wanted me to come out in front, and she would be making jokes with me and would kind of hit me sometimes. So Louis told me, he said, Don, when she comes out there, she doesn't understand, but pull that horn away from your mouth because she might hit it, and that ain't gonna feel too good. So I said, "Oh yeah, that's I certainly remember to do that." But see what happened? She got sick, and we never did do the show.
Wow, I didn't never heard that. I wonder what she
Yeah,
had. Maybe she had like something like diabetes or something.
I don't know if she had that or a heart problem, but no, that was just it was supposed to be for a week, but when we did Hello Dolly, that was about 4 weeks at a theater.
Yeah.
And some shows there's no problem. Then other shows we'd maybe sit not sit, but wait a half an hour, 45 minutes, and then she'd be at the Ford Hospital, which is right down street from the Fisher Theater.
That's
And
interesting. I'm just going to Google that for a minute. I wonder. Let's see. What was Pearl Bailey sick with? Let's see if Google knows. They usually know everything. So let's see. Pearl Bailey. Oh, it's funny. I don't know why, but maybe what? Yes. What was Pearl Bailey sick with? Well, she died of coronary artery. And
okay,
maybe she had like you know, a heart thing that was continuous.
I
Uh,
might have been. I'm not. I never did know, but I mean, we would hold the show up until she got a chance to come back.
she was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, she was amazing. And Louis Belson, a great guy. Every time we'd be playing someplace, he'd eventually find time to come by. When we hello
Uh-oh, we're losing his voice again.
Dolly,
It's not you guys listening. It's
he,
we're having a little bit
he'd
of
come by there, and we were there for about 3 or 4 weeks.
almost heard that.
And he would go and see her, and that's kind of dope. And I did some things with the
Okay, now I hope it's coming back. There it comes back. It's like it reboots itself. Very interesting. Are you there? Can you hear me, Don? Hello? Hello? Well, we're having issues today because their internet over there is funky. And Dan has put up a little bit about Pearl Bailey. So yeah, that's me. And and here it is. This is the time. So the road company. Oh my gosh, you there?
yeah.
Uh, I- Actually, my friend found. Ay, 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 ay. The New York Times does not make it easy to read the articles. You have to like join. Uh,
Hmm.
and but let me see if I can grab this quick before they take me off. Okay, so the road company, I don't know what date this was, but the road company of the long-running musical Hello Dolly failed to open last night in Milwaukee because its star Pearl Bailey was unavailable. She had become ill in Houston Sunday night. Oh, listen, this is so socially incorrect now. The all Negro Road Company was in danger of being disbanded. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, and they had to put that in there too. According to a spokesman for David Merrick, the play's producer, Miss Bailey reported she's too ill to continue and offer statements from physicians to that effect. Mr.
Okay.
Merrick, who flew to Houston to see her last week, suggested that she enter a Houston hospital for a checkup, but Miss Bailey is said to have demurred. Um, Miss Bailey said last night that physicians had told her she required a prolonged period of rest without any show business activity. She said she regretted the effect of her departure, expressing high regard for Mr. Merrick, and said she hoped later to go all over the world in the show. The tour, which began on January 12th, was said to be doing enormous business. It was to play 7 more cities, ending in LA, August 29th. It has 44 players. Wow. And employs 60 people in all. Um, and the Merrick office, which has repeatedly recast the lead roles through 2,500 performances in New York, said he did not believe a star of Miss Bailey's magnitude could be found to continue the tour. And
Mhm.
the musical had $140,000 advance sale in Milwaukee, the largest on the tour. More than
Oh boy.
18,000 tickets had been sold for the 8 performance. Wow, can you believe that?
Yeah, boy. Yeah,
That's amazing. Thanks,
yeah,
thanks, Dan.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you about some of these other people and little stories about them if you would like to hear them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I worked with Rosemary Clooney, and a funny thing happened with her. You know, we were playing up in East Lansing at Michigan State University, and we had a little rehearsal, and we were playing out on actually playing out on a field, and they had bought a mobile home for her where she could get herself together and change and whatever. And so we had the rehearsal, and after rehearsal, just before we're getting ready to go on, about a half an hour before we're getting ready to go on, uh, I was outside and I was just playing a little, and I had my tux on, and waiting for the show start. And this guy comes up to me and he says, "Can you do me a favor?" And I said, "Well, if I can, I'll try." And he said, "Look, I'm Rosemary Clooney's road manager, and we always play tricks on one another." And she said, he told me, he said, "I'm going to take you into the mobile home there, and I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to introduce you as Durkin, the mayor of New York City." And says, "Can you?" I said, "Yeah, I'll try." So we went in there, and he went in first. He said, "Yes, Rosemary, I told you I was going to bring you a very high individual to meet you." He said, "This is Durkin, the mayor of New York City." "Oh," she said, "that's fantastic." And she come up and shook my hand, and she said to me, "That was a tough job." I said, "Yeah, that was a pretty tough job." And the roadman said, "No, he plays in the band." So that was something. And then I did. Do you remember Jose Feliciano?
Yeah.
Okay, I played a lot of the Lions football games. So before each game starts, somebody would come out and sing the Star Spangled Banner, or either the band would play it.
Yeah.
So we were out on the field, getting ready to play. And the conductor, Merle Albee, he said, "Now the singer's coming out." He says, "We don't have to accompany him. So, he's just going to sing the Star Spangled Banner." So he came out. He had a seeing-eye dog, and he played, and he started singing the Star Spangled, but he did kind of a jazz version of it, and the people did not like that at all. Oh. But that was Jose Feliciano, and some of these other people. Let me see. I worked a lot with Sammy Davis.
Oh, now that it was impressive to me. I'm a big fan of Sammy Davis. I thought he was just the hugest star. He could do anything incredibly
And
well.
that's right, he could do it. Not only do it, he could do it so well.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was a great guy to work with. I mean, and he would be not as people like that have rehearsal with. They wouldn't be at the rehearsal. Sometimes you wouldn't see them till the night of the performance, you know. But Sammy was a great guy. And his club that I was working at, the guy told him, says, anytime that you're close to Detroit, just call me and you can come over and do your show, you know. And then there was, do you remember Dinah Shore?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I worked with Dinah Shore and Dinah Shore too. You know, Dinah Shore was, she was a pianist. She was blind, but she
Yes.
sang the blues. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I did Dinah Shore. I didn't do a show with her, but we went to a studio and recorded. She had a song. Her theme song was "See the USA in Your Chevrolet."
Oh yeah, really? Wait,
Yeah.
was that Dinah Shore or Diane Shore?
Well, Dinah Shore. Yeah, Dinah.
Dinah Shore. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we recorded that for her, and she used that. And she had another theme, but she had another recording, but she wanted to make a new recording. So we recorded that, but I didn't, that was all I had with her because and then I worked with Peggy Lee and, O.C. Smith, Lou Rawls, Elvis. I worked with Elvis. Elvis was another great guy. And I remember one time after the show, we worked at a big theater. It was called the Fox Theater. And, like that theater was like a cathedral, beautiful theater.
Yeah.
And so we, after the show one time, I said, Elvis, I'd like to can you give me a picture? You know, he said, well, come up the dressing room. Well, they had an elevator back there, and him and a young lady and me, we went up to where the penthouse where he was, and he said, well, come on. I said, no, I'll just wait here by the elevator for it. And he went and he said, look, I only got this one picture. And what would you want me to sign something? I said, yeah. I said, put on there to Laura from Elvis. And he signed it like that. And I kept the picture for a long time. Then I gave it to my daughter.
Yeah, I think Mark said you kept it in your wallet for 40 years.
Yeah. And then I did a lot of things with Aretha Franklin.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. She had a big house in Bloomfield Hills, which was quite a classy section. And I played for her. She had she, Rita liked food. And we would play, and we'd play on the balcony of her house. And each little section, they had food stands. And one food would you get Italian food, you get German food, you get Polish food, and then you go in the house in the kitchen, and then you had soul food in there. And that's where she would be with the soul food. But and then later on, I went back and we had a 32-piece orchestra in her living room. And
Wow.
we did this Lou Rawls' arranger did arranger. He was supposed to come in and conduct the band and everything, but he couldn't make it in. But we sang, I'm not sure if she recorded that or not.
Wow.
But,
That's pretty impressive.
It's a huge band.
Wow.
And, violins and everything else there.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember one time we're having a little.
And then I worked with O.C. Smith, Lou Rawls, Billy Eckstein, Johnny Mathis, James Brown, Quincy Jones. Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm still here. Hey, I was going to ask you, one time when we met at the Urban Press, you were saying that you really liked playing for singers.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I liked because I always thought if you see, I'm a romantic, and I prefer the ballads to the jazz tunes. But I mean, I like playing either one of them, But the lyrics on those tunes, boy, it's just amazing. There's one that. Um, have you ever heard a tune called "Here's to Life"?
Yes, Shirley Horn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in that song, there's lyrics that say, "I've lived my life, I've drank my fill, but yet I'm hungry still to find out what's down the road and over the hill and do it all again.
Yeah.
There's no yes in yesterday, but who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away. But as long as I'm in the game, I want to play and do it all again."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know the lyrics, so
I do. And you know the lyrics.
yeah. I always thought if you played a song, it's good to know the lyrics so you know what you're saying.
No, that's something that a lot of musicians will say. You got to know the lyrics to play the song well. You know, when someone's singing, especially, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And so, and
Uh, I mean, being that you had so many of these shows, I have a friend here on Facebook that wants to know, was there one that was really inspiring to you that you did?
uh, there were so many that uh, to point out one uh,
It's too hard.
would be pretty hard. Um,
Well,
uh,
what about we can just continue talking about, the different shows because they're all sound really great. If you could name one record, again from my friend Taylor, if you could name one record that changed your life, which one would it be?
uh, Let me think. That's a tough question because there were so many singers that I liked, and the way I'll tell you one song that one of my favorites is "Over the Rainbow," and I never worked with her, but I like Eva Cassidy's version of that.
Very nice. Yeah, she's a
Yes,
great singer.
she she had such a way of her phrasing was so great, and she could hit a note high and be tender, and then she bust a note off. But when she does that over the rainbow, she did a great job of that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, she did a lot of things that were very good, but
interesting singer, right? Yeah, very very cool. She had kind of, it was kind of an interesting career because she actually got known, but not really through the record company's help, right? Because they didn't know what to do with her, you know.
right, yeah, yeah,
But she still impinged on the audience because she was so good, and her style was so varied that I think she touched a lot of people's.
oh, she certainly did. She certainly did.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and then not to mention all of these singers, but also you were a member of the Funk Brothers, and you played on a lot of Motown too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I worked at Jackson Five, the Supremes, the Temptations, the Four Tops. I didn't realize I was on so many recordings here. And since I've been in California, they send me a list of recordings. I've been getting little checks from these things that I made. I've been out here 22 years, and and so these recordings go back even further than 22 years. And there are things that I made with Martha and the Vandals and Diana Ross and Supremes and the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Funk Brothers. And, I got lists of it. I mean, there must. I didn't realize.
Who was the Funk Brothers? I hadn't really heard about the Funk Brothers. Was that like was that a group that Motown used to record everybody? Or
No, no, they did things. As a matter of fact, they made a movie called, I can't think. It's a little movie, and when they show the credits, my name's in on that because I was playing with them.
oh, I see.
And I think it was before Motown. I think they called it or something like that. I can't remember,
Who
but
was
I
it?
saw it
Who
on
was in the Funk
television.
Brothers, and how long did you play with them? Who was in there?
Uh, I knew the piano player. A lot of these groups, I didn't get to meet a lot of the players, but I'm trying to think. The piano player played some trumpet too, so that's how I got to know him. But a lot of times, you're just reading the music and doing, uh, you know, uh, after a while, you play the music so long. But I never
Oh,
worked a whole lot with them, but I did do some recordings with them.
yeah. Mark
Yeah,
says it's Earl Van Dyke was the pianist.
yeah, but yeah. He did a lot of things at Motown. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and also Mark said, which is what I thought, the Funk Brothers were the rhythm section, and the movie is Standing in the Shadows of Motown.
Something about I missed that,
Oh,
Kathy.
the movie is called Standing in the Shadows of Motown.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, and then I was fortunate that I always I did a lot of wait a minute,
Hello? You there? Okay, well, here's here's a little bit of information. The Funk Brothers recorded and performed on Motown's recordings
shoot it.
69 to 72.
Oh, yeah. I, I did a lot of like a variety of things, but I always felt when I came up playing. Now, some guys are so devoted to jazz that they don't want to play nothing but jazz. But I felt when I came up, I played Italian weddings, German weddings, Polish weddings, and any type of music. I played polkas and whatever, because I always felt the more that you knew, that's more in your favor.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, you don't have to know everything, but it's really helpful.
Yeah, but don't turn your back on something that might help you. But there were some guys that are so devoted to jazz that, no, I don't want to play that. And I said, I'll play it.
I know everybody has their opinion, right, about that stuff. And yeah, let's see. Wow. So I'm just looking at some of the Funk Brothers stuff. They don't have listed. Mark, you could your add Don's name into Wikipedia. Um, and but anyway, I was just looking at the Funk Brothers. That must have been some. That also was great time. I mean, that's what I mean. You had a really varied career in a lot of substantial music. There was.
Yeah, it was met a lot of people. I mean, and um, I even did some things with Sonny and Cher. Now that was when they were together. but that was when I worked at a club with them. That was the first time I'd ever worked with a group that used a little profanity in the show. But of course, after that, they're saying everything on television now. But a funny thing happened, and well, it wasn't funny, but I did a show with Red Fox, and this was at the Fisher Theater, and he was doing that. He had a TV show, it was so funny, and well, what happened one day we were playing. There was a church. They brought all their church members down there because they were so crazy about Red Fox. Red Fox got out there and he's doing all this swearing and all that stuff. They were really hurt. They didn't know what to get up or go or what. He couldn't do that on television. Of course, a lot of your comedians, of course, now they're saying just about anything they want to say on television. But
Well,
at
Red
that
Fox,
time,
yeah, he was pretty outspoken.
yeah. Well, I think I'm trying to think. The guy that started all of that was what's Richard Pryor. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Richard Pryor. I never worked with him, but I enjoyed his comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but Red Fox, yeah, I had a few connections into the Red Fox world. I had a friend who was who's still alive, but he moved to Cincinnati. But his name was Larry Green, tall, very good-looking black man with a gorgeous voice, and he lived here for a long time. When I had first moved here, I was 21, so he and I had a long relationship, a friendship, and he worked for Red Fox. He produced a little bit and acted a little bit, and so I had a little connection in there to Red Fox, and I always thought Red Fox was really admirable. I thought there's a really successful man, he is intelligent, he knows what to do and he does it, and he's having
Mhm.
like great success. I thought he was really cool.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Now Mark said he's reminding me that Levi Stubbs bought a Mercedes Benz about 6 months to a year after you and he had a discussion. And so, what's the cool story about that? And who's Levi Stubbs?
He's one of the singers with the Temptations.
Okay.
And we were doing a show at the Michigan or the Fox Theater, I can't remember. And they were down in the the Temps were down in the dressing room and where the band was. Generally, they're in a different room, but it so happened, So he was talking, you're saying, I'm going to go get me a Cadillac. I said, I'm going to get me a nice Cadillac. And I said to him, I said, if you get, I shouldn't say this because General Motors, but I said, uh, why don't you say, you get a Cadillac, you get in a car, but you get a Mercedes, you get an automobile. And he looked, I don't think he had ever heard of Mercedes. And I found out years later, my granddaughter has a friend that was related to him. And he said he did buy that Mercedes and they still had the car after he had passed.
Wow. See that? See what you did? Oh my God. Oh, my friend found a whole long information on the Funk Brothers, and you're listed in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is on last.fm. And Mark, I don't know if you've ever seen this. My friend found this. So, oh yeah, and the Wrecking Crew. I guess the Wrecking Crew and the Funk Brothers were basically doing this similar stuff,
I,
except
I, I never worked with them. I did, but they were doing the similar stuff.
Yeah, they would like have 3 sessions a day, but probably the Funk Brothers were doing more of the Motown. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe so. Yeah,
this is
yeah,
great. This is a
yeah,
great information thing about the Funk Brothers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what else did I wanted to? Oh yeah, did I was going to ask you? Do you know HB Barnum? Did you work with him?
Yes, he was conductor for Lou Rawls. He was the one that was supposed to come in from California when I did the we had a 32-piece band at Aretha's.
Yeah.
He wrote the arrangement. And there's a funny thing. Oh, it wasn't funny, but I worked with him with Lou Rawls, and he was a conductor. And there was two things I would say about this. And uh, that my daughters came down, and he said he met them, and he said he he started calling me father-in-law. So I'm gonna marry one of your daughters.
That's funny. I really like HB. He
Yeah,
is a really cool guy. He's a professional. He's really
yeah.
nice, community minded person. Um,
Mhm.
and I think it was the Temptations. I can't remember now. I'm sure somebody here on Facebook listening will remember this, but I have to tell you this, Don. So my husband and I decided to go to this restaurant somewhat in our neighborhood that we go to for breakfast, but we thought, hey, let's go to the senior dinner. Check it out. So we went there and we hear some guy singing on the way out. There's a few guys like together, like 4 guys, and they're walking out and they're singing, and man, they sounded incredible. So we got up to go out, and we said to the cashier, wow, that who is that? And she said, oh, that's the Temptations. They come in here all the time. So I went out there and I was like, excuse me, I just have to shake your hand. So I shook their hands, um, and one was oh, I can't remember. He was like one of the big writers,
Mhm.
from that period. And I said, "Do you know H.B. Barnum?" And they said, "Yeah, we're doing a project with him." And it was like, "Oh man, this is great." And so I guess if I go there for dinner, they're always going to be there. But that was pretty cool.
Well, that was when I worked with Quincy. Uh, I did it was for 4 days, but it lasted for 4 weeks. I mean, 4 days. It'd be 4 days a week, but it lasts for 4 weeks. And um, he was. I'd bring most of my kids to anything that I was playing and get them in this. And so after the show, I introduced them to Quincy.
Are you
And
talking?
Quincy,
Are you talking about HB?
no, I'm talking about Quincy Jones.
No, I mean introduced who?
Oh, my daughters too.
Oh, okay.
Most of my family, I'd bring them to, different boys and everything like that. I'd bring them to the rehearsals and things like that, or the shows,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah. And so Quincy, I introduced him to my daughter. He says, I'm going to write a song called Slaughter's Daughters. He never did, but yeah.
That's cool. So, Mark said that HB asked if he could buy your mouthpiece.
Yeah, he was, he played trumpet,
Yeah.
and a lot of times he 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 had his horn, but he liked the mouthpiece I had, and so I let him use my mouthpiece when he was playing, and then he said, "Let me buy that from you." I said, "No, I like it myself."
So what, I always talk about mouthpieces with sax players. I've never talked about it with a trumpet player. So are there major differences in mouthpieces with trumpet?
Well, yeah, there is. Some people like, I remember Ted Anderson who played with Duke. He used a very shallow mouth. Sometimes a shallow mouthpiece was better for high notes. But then I met some guys that use what you call a 7C Bach, which is a deep cup, and they play as high as anybody wanted to hear. So it was just more of a choice. But the mouthpiece made a lot of difference because in the horn, there's a certain amount of resistance you want. And the lead pipe from the trumpet and the backbore of the mouthpiece and how open the hole is. I'm not talking about the cup, I'm talking about the little hole down there that the sound goes through. Uh, it makes a difference how much pressure you're playing against. I mean, some people like more pressure and some people like it to flow easy.
Yeah, yeah.
But actually it takes more air to blow a flute than a trumpet because the trumpet is more of a compressed air.
Yeah.
And the flute is you're blowing over that hole and you're using a lot of wind.
I always like to ask wind players uh, about this because it's absolutely connected to voice too. And
Yeah,
so if you know voice technique, there's things that you can think about and compare, like with what you just said, for instance. You know who I always thought was a great singer and a great trumpet player too, but definitely a great singer because of trumpet was Jack Sheldon.
oh yes, 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 yeah. He certainly was, and quite a comedian too.
I really liked Jack Sheldon. He was really a fun hang, and yeah, just a great singer. He was definitely overlooked as a singer. I mean, or whatever. People just didn't really think about him a lot as a singer. I mean, except for, you know, fans and stuff, particular
Yeah,
fans. But
yeah,
he sang great. I mean,
yeah. He had a great band too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ross Tompkins, who I recorded with, he was like Jack and Ross. They did a bunch of duo recordings together that were really beautiful.
Hmm. Yeah, Jack Shelton. Yeah, yeah. That. I'll tell
And
you somebody else that sang
who?
but played trombone. Billy Eckstein used to play trombone on some things. I
Really?
don't. I don't remember him playing trumpet, but he did. But he played more like a barrel trombone.
Wow.
Yeah. Instead of a slide, you had a valve, just like a trumpet.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
I know a few people who are children of those people, like Gina Eckstein. I know her. She's been on this show. She's a really nice person, good singer, and there was actually I'm producing a recording for Pierre Chambers, Paul Chambers' son.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that to me. Yeah, and I talked to him about 2 years ago.
Oh,
Mark had talked with him, and he told me he mentioned me, and he wanted to talk to me, and he called me, and we talked for a nice little time. Yeah.
oh, that's good. He's a sweetheart. Yeah, when we'll have to remember to get you a recording, a CD when we finish. We're almost finished. We just
Okay.
we have a GoFundMe actually for him, so we just need money to master the record and then just kind of pull it together, like manufacture it. Um,
Oh yeah,
but I think
yeah.
it's going to be. I love the record. I think he's got this real. Oh, you went to high school with him, Mark? I didn't know that. That's so cool. Yeah, he has these real natural tendencies of jazz. I mean, he's really good, and the recording is good. I got Henry Franklin. Do you know Henry Franklin, the bass player? What'd you say?
Off again. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Are we here? I asked, can you hear me?
It'll come back on.
It's coming, it'll
It
come
just
back, I'm thinking.
sometimes.
So, yeah, that's wild, man. Mark, I didn't know that. You know, there's all these connections that occur, right? The sound went off for another minute, but we'll be kicking in a little bit. Don? Yeah. So it's fun to talk to kids of the more well-known jazz players, and see their points of view, how they turned out, and their general musicality. Mark, you're a trumpet player too, right? I'm talking to Mark via YouTube for those of you on Facebook. um, so when I have a window open for YouTube comments, and
Yeah.
Facebook does not see that.
Yeah.
You hear? Almost. Just a little while longer, an iPhone will kick him in. Yeah, you're a trumpet player too, and I know you have a Facebook. You have a Facebook location, and you know I have another picture that's kind of cool. Of is this it? Nope. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, I know where it is. Yeah, there's another picture that I have. You see, now you're all seeing into my organizational mind. So here's a cool picture. Let me open it bigger. And it's a little fuzzy. Obviously, the Supremes, and oh, I have to ask him about the Jimmy Wilkins band. Right there,
Oh,
that's Don. Right there. All right, the second man from the
I'm
left.
kind of missing some of this.
Can you hear me, Don? Oh, and Mark's daughter plays Fender bass. She was in the movie Get On Up with Chadwick Boseman. Really? Wow, man. That's pretty impressive. So this is pretty cool, right? Great picture. Jimmy Wilkins. I'll have to ask him about that. Are you here, Don? Look at this one. Oh my God. That is so gorgeous. Woohoo! Love that picture. Oh, I see. Your daughter, she was a dancer in Get It On Up, but was she so she plays Fender bass, but she was a dancer in Get It On Up. Get on up. Get on up. Cool. Look at this picture. Isn't this great? Oh my God. Look how cute. He's still adorable. I'm sure he was a big ladies' man. I'm positive of that. And it's not just because of how he looks, it's how he is even now. Here's another one. Oh, there he is. Really great pictures. Don, you're with me? You with me, Don? So obviously, long career. Isn't his career amazing? I love this picture. This is so beautiful. Although,
I'm back.
are you back? Hello?
With you.
He's trying to connect. Are you there? Gosh. Yeah, well,
I can't see you.
you can't see me. I can't hear you, so we're even. Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Are you? It sounds like you're here.
Yeah, I'm back.
Good, great. Well, I'm just showing some pictures, other pictures that I found of you. One is with the Supremes here, with the Jimmy Wilkins big band.
Yes, uh-huh.
And
And that picture that you got, um, a guy came to my house from the Smithsonian Institute, and he interviewed me. And I took he wanted me to have a picture of me with the, with, no, I'm sorry about that. I, when I took that picture of him, I didn't have the horn up to me. So that was another picture. But it was on this album that my nephew fixed it up for me, and I had a recording. All of my kids have this recording of that interview with him, and he fixed this cover up for me and put that picture on top. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, I love these. These pictures are really cool, man. I don't know how old you were with this beautiful, the horn up to your mouth and real beautiful. That's like you were pretty young, it looks like.
That was a long time ago, Cathy.
I know, man. Hey,
I
so
I had hair then.
when did you stop playing actually? Don, when did you kind of stop playing?
Well, like I said, I came out here in 2000,
Yeah,
and the last job I played before I came here, I did a tour, a 5-day tour with the Four Tops.
yeah,
That was the last job I played, because when I got out here, uh, my two daughters were the ones that were living out. I always wanted to come out to California. I'd been out, but I liked California.
uh-huh.
So they invited me to come out, and my my daughter had a house uh, that she was renting out, and so I moved in the house that she had and stayed out there. But I was so far away, I never did get into anything because I couldn't join the local down in Los Angeles, and
All right. Wonder if
I
I can.
just didn't too far away. They took me out of Los Angeles.
Oh man. Yeah, we're kind of losing it a little bit here again.
Messing up.
Hello?
But it did, you went a long time with it doing
Yeah.
out here.
I'm
Still
hearing
not better than in the living room.
I'm
Hello.
I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you.
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. What were you just talking about before we got interrupted?
You got to recall me. I recall.
This is funny. This is kind of the typical, I can remember 70 years ago, but I can't remember 2 minutes ago.
2 minutes ago.
That's
That,
that's the typical way that memory goes, isn't it? So, Don, when did you stop playing?
Cathy,
Yeah, how old were you when you stopped playing, kind of?
I had to be about 72 or 73.
And may I ask why you stopped?
Well, like I said, I moved to California, and I was doing a lot of traveling, you know.
Well, I guess we won't hear the answer. We're almost through for the day, but I mean,
You
maybe we'll try again at some point and I'll bring him to my
got
house.
to keep that amateur. To the point where when I was younger, wherever I went with me.
Well, I want to hear
Out
you.
here, and I just kind of lost the episode in the house. And that,
Okay, I think they kicked him off, and now I think iTunes will reboot. Yes. So let's see. We're still waiting. Yeah, I think I have to do this again. Don't you think so? The stories are too great. I think I'm going to have to do this, but have him somewhere else so that we can really hear. He really doesn't live that far away from me, so maybe he can come over to my house. We can sit here and talk. I would like that because he's such a cool guy. I met Don at the Urban Winery, which is a venue in Glendale, Burbank. And Linda Smith runs it every Sunday. She books jazz in there. And Don and his family, um, Lance and Faye, and a few other people from his family come and hang out. And they're such cool people. And so it was really fun to talk to Don. And let's see, how old is he? He was born in 27. So he's 95. Is that correct, Mark? He's 95? Um, Pretty cool. So, yeah. And I mean, he remembers 94. His remembers everything, man. I think growing older is so cool. And I always watched Jumanji in Jumanji for, kind of a no-brainer movie, And the second Jumanji, Danny DeVito, it comes in the beginning of the movie and he says, getting old sucks. But then at the end of the movie, he changes his mind and he says, it's a gift. And I just, it's so cool to talk to some of these older folks like Don and David Amram and Sheila Jordan. And, you know, they're over 90 and they're still active and they're still alive and uh, have great memories and just, you know, they are our teachers. It's really a beautiful thing to be able to communicate with them. Don, you're not there, are you?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm sitting here talking about you, and I didn't know that you were there. So I asked you how old you were when you stopped playing. You said around 72 or 3, and
Yeah.
then I said, "Can I ask you why you stopped playing?" You said you moved here, and
Oh, I moved here and I moved to a town called Atascadero. Now
okay,
that's halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
yeah,
And I just, there was just nothing, when you keep practicing, you want to practice for something. But I was, get out here and trying to see California and one thing led to another. Before I know it, before I do it, uh, I picked up the horn. Well, I mean, this wasn't recent. This was about, I'd say about 6 or 7 years after I'd been out here, and I there was nothing there. I just kind of lost it.
yeah, yeah. The embouchure for a trumpet is probably one of the hardest embouchures to keep, right?
Yeah, it is because you're playing with a small mouthpiece. But I mean, all those instruments are uh, to play them well. You gotta play them.
Yeah.
It's what do you say? It's like a jealous mistress.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Yeah, singing for me is like that too. I have to sing every day if I want to get up and sound okay and last. Some singers don't have to do it. I had a friend, Rebecca Paris. She would sit in front of me, drink a Courvoisier, and eat an Italian sub, and then put it down, grab the mic, and go. I could never do that. Oh, Mark is reminding me to ask you about Miles. How did you meet Miles?
Oh, when I was with Dizzy, I was in New York. I always stayed at the Alvin Hotel, right on Broadway. It was right across the street from Birdland, and there were three young ladies that I knew from Detroit. They loved music, and uh, they had moved to New York, but I didn't know that. But I was out walking and ran into one of the girls there, and she said, "Why don't you come home and have dinner? We invite you to come home and have dinner." I said, "Sure, I'll be fine to do that." Well, when I went over there, Miles was going with one of the girls, and that's where I met Miles.
Wow. And of course, Miles was big already, right?
Big pardon?
He was a star already, right?
Yeah, he was. What as big as he? Yeah, but he was. Yeah, he was quite known. Yeah, he did this group, and yeah, he's pretty big. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, Cathy, do you know I did a show with? She was a dancer. It was called Lola Polana.
Yeah, I remember that name.
Well, I did a show in. I just wanted to ask you if you know anything about. I did a show with her at the fairgrounds in Detroit. She's quite a dancer, and that was her feel. But she had contracted MS,
Oh.
and she was when we finished this show, she was going to Los Angeles, and she was saying that she's gonna keep on, she's gonna fight this. And I know she did do the show in Los Angeles, in Vegas, but I just wondered whatever happened to her. I never heard no more about it. If see, I had a brother that had multiple sclerosis, and that's funny. Sometimes some people it'll hit pretty hard, and other people it won't.
I know.
Yeah.
I
So I
know.
just wondered whatever happened to her because I never heard no more about her.
Yeah, that's a name kind of out of the past too. I don't really remember hearing that name, Lola Polana for a long time. Yeah, she was Lola Polana. I'm going to bring that up because I'm curious just to remind myself. Polana. Gosh, Lola Paloma? Oh no, it's with an N, right? Lola Polana, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Lola Polana. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's a few pictures of her. Lola Palana. Oh, she was a Latina, right? And Lola, no, that's Lola Beltran. This is Lola Beltran. Lola Polana. Wow, it doesn't really even come up.
It didn't.
I'm pretty sure that was how you spelled her name. Lola, maybe it was with an M. Lola Palama? Oh no, Lola.
I think it is with an F though. Polana.
Lola Palama. Let's see. Uh, well, I'd have to look. There's there is a Lola Palama, but I can't. This looks like more of a current Lola Palama, I would think. So I don't know. I'll have to go looking for that. That should be an interesting thing. Well, Don, it's been 2 hours. Granted, we had some stops and starts. It would be really fun sometime to have you come over here maybe, one of your family members could bring you over here and we can just do another interview from here and, we wouldn't have interruptions.
That would be fine. That would be fine, with Kathy. I've enjoyed this so much. I'm just sorry it didn't go as well as we wanted to go, but I've enjoyed it, uh, uh, even with the little hesitations.
I know, right? It would be wonderful to just have it like that. But also, it's been a great conversation too. But yeah, and gosh, so many memories you have, and so many people you played with, and just great to have your impressions of all that.
Oh, well, I've enjoyed sharing it with you.
Well, thank you. Um, and I'll just tell everybody that this week is a little bit different week because July 4th, I put up an archive. Tomorrow, there's a really wonderful singer named Ronnie Martin, and she's an R&B and jazz singer who's done studio and live like background performances. And I saw her at a special event for a loving hospice, which is the only dedicated children's hospice there is. This friend of mine, Dilette Davis, created this hospice over 10 years ago. And
Mhm.
so she has an annual fundraiser, and Ronnie was one of the performers there. And she's a wonderful singer, a real cool person, and she's also had a lot of really great experiences. So she's going to be on tomorrow. Um,
Mhm.
and then Thursday I'll have an archive, and Friday I'll have another live guest. Very interesting singer from South Africa,
Oh,
Ziza Muftik. Ziza Muftik. I don't know what kind of name that is, if it's African or Turkish or something, but she's a younger singer that I heard. I forget where I heard her, but really good singer. And so I'm having her on live on
oh,
Friday.
that sounds great.
Yeah, but we're gonna continue. I'll put up. I always have something up every single day, and I have about usually three live hangs every week,
Mhm.
and then 4 days of archives.
Yeah.
So, what? Oh, Mark said something. The Miles thing was about 1949. And he also said that you had a nice conversation with Harry Belafonte after Martin Luther King was assassinated in 68. Um,
Yeah. I played that parade. Well, I played the parade before he was assassinated. It was in Detroit, and he spoke after the parade. There was a big celebration for him being there. Yeah.
oh, see, that's just I mean, there's so many beautiful things that you can remember and talk about. So we have to do it again.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Don, for being on. I'm going to show your face one more time on my screen. There he is. So if you see him now, that's him, Don Slaughter. So especially if you go to Urban Press Winery, you'll see.
Right.
Oh yeah, I should mention tonight I have a gig. So anybody living in LA, you can come into the most cool, beautiful restaurant and gorgeous looking food called La Puglia. It's on Wilshire Boulevard in Santa Monica. And I'm there early, 6:30 to 9, with a great band, a really great guitar player named Mitchell Long, who a lot of you know.
Oh,
He's really good, and he has a love affair with Brazilian music. And Don, you probably have seen John Leftwich on bass at the Urban Press.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll be in
Uh-huh.
the band, and a drummer named Chris Blondal. So tonight, there's no cover charge, and it's really great food. You should call for a reservation if you're going to come. La Puglia. It's kind of closer to the beach area on Wilshire in Santa Monica. So that's tonight. So thanks, Don, for being here with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for your help. Thank you to Mark, and thanks Darian, and
Of
everybody else.
Lance and Camara.
That's right. Thank you, you guys.
Yeah, I couldn't have did it. These electronics are over my head.
Me too, apparently. Oh, and by the way, you have somebody say Marianne Grace.
Oh yes, yes. That's a relative.
That's your Georgia peach, I guess.
Yeah, that's my Georgia peach.
All right. Well, she said hello, and she was really happy to see you on here.
Fantastic. Yeah.
All right,
That's my
Darren.
Georgia peach.
I'll see
All
you at
right, Kathy.
I'll see you at the Urban Press, if not before.
All right, that sounds great to me. And thank you so much for having me on.
You are so welcome. Have a great day.
The same to you.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.